I'm Adrian Seet, and you are tuning into Nightline, the top stories. Curriculum unaffected when school term starts in January 2026. And Mydin hypermarket in Ipoh engulfed in flames. Thanks for joining us. A massive fire has broken out at a Mydin hypermarket in Manjoy, Ipoh at about 7 p.m. on Sunday night. As of 11:50 p.m, firefighters are still continuing efforts to put out the blaze. Perak Fire and Rescue Department Assistant Director for Operations Sabarodzin Nur Ahmad said that an emergency call was received at 7:09 p.m. and a team of firefighters from the Ipoh Fire and Rescue Station was dispatched to the scene. Witnesses said the fire is believed to have broken out on the upper floor following a blackout at the premises. It is understood that during the incident, about 40 employees and over 200 visitors were inside the hypermarket, making final preparations for the start of the school term and welcoming Ramadan. All employees and visitors managed to evacuate the premises before the fire broke out on the second floor of the building that houses the clothing section, electrical goods and daily necessities. No casualties have been reported so far. Malaysia will be looking at enhancing its bilateral and business ties with Germany, its largest trading partner amongst European Union members, when Prime Minister Datuk Sri Anwar Ibrahim undertakes a 6-day visit to the country. Now, during the visit, Anwar will also join more than 5.5 million Muslims in Germany to mark the beginning of the auspicious month of Ramadan and will also be involved in several Ramadan-related events. Malaysian ambassador to Germany, Datin Paduka Adina Kamarudin, said Anwar will be holding a bilateral meeting with his German counterpart, Chancellor Olaf Scholz, besides paying a courtesy call on President Frank-Walter Steinmeier. The president made a state visit to Malaysia from February the 16th to the 19th in 2023, where he also visited two of Germany's largest investors in Malaysia, semiconductor manufacturer Infineon and medical technology specialist B. Braun. Anwar is expected to arrive in Berlin at 5 a.m. on Monday Malaysian time to begin his maiden visit as Prime Minister to Germany and the European Union. He is scheduled to meet top industry leaders at 6 meetings and engagements during the visit, most of whom are the country's top small and medium-sized enterprises. This includes a meeting with about 30 captains of industries and potential investors from Europe at a business roundtable meeting on Tuesday. Adina said issues like Malaysia's palm oil exports to Europe and climate change are likely to be brought up during Anwar's meeting with a Deputy Chancellor and Minister of Economic Affairs and Climate Action, Robert Habeck, before the Prime Minister delivers a keynote address at Mittelstand or SME Future Day on Wednesday. Anwar will also meet and break his fast with the Malaysian diaspora before attending prayers and performing tarawih during his stay in the capital. Germany has been Malaysia's largest trading partner amongst EU member countries since year 2000, while Malaysia is the largest trading partner for Germany amongst ASEAN member states. In 2023, Malaysia's total trade with Germany increased by 5.9% to 63.45 billion ringgit compared to 59.87 billion ringgit in 2022. A total of 1.44 million students from states in Group A, namely Johor, Kelantan, Terengganu and Kedah, began their 2024-2025 academic session on Sunday. Education Director General Asman Adnan said overall there were 5 million students attending the 2024-2025 school session, with students from Group B states commencing classes on Monday. At the same time, Asman assured that the school curriculum for this year will not be affected, despite the decision to revert at the start of the school session to January in 2026. The Education Director General assured parents not to be worried about the reorganization of the school session schedule. He explained that the total number of school days would return to the usual 190 days per year if the school session resumes its original schedule.
Kurikulum kita tidak terjejas. Dilaksanakan seperti biasa, cuma mungkin ada perubahan sedikit berkaitan dengan tempoh cuti penggal persekolahan yang kita pendekkan. Tapi itu sifatnya sementara. Bila dah kembali kepada sesi persekolahan yang asal, kita akan kembali seperti sedia adalah dari segi jumlah Hari persekolahan tak terjejas iaitu 190 hari setahun.
He added that the views of all parties involved, including students, parents and teachers, are taken into account before the restructuring of the school timetable is carried out. He was speaking to the media after visiting Sekolah Menengah Kebangsaan Sultan Ismail in Johor on Sunday. There are a total of 602,619 students commencing this school term in the state. On another matter, Azman said the Education Ministry is considering a proposal to establish special regulations to curb vaping among students that is currently a concerning issue. He added that the ministry will collaborate with the Health Ministry to ensure that the trend of students freely purchasing vape products can be addressed effectively.
Ini juga antara komitmen kita lah bagi memastikan perkara ini dapat ditangani dengan baik, dan komitmen kita bukan saja inisiatif yang dilaksanakan oleh kementerian, tapi kita laksanakan bersama dengan agensi-agensi yang berkaitan termasuklah AADK dan sebagainya.
He said this during a media briefing after observing the first day of school at SMK Sultan Ismail in Johor Bahru on Sunday. He also stressed that there are currently rules and specific guidelines already in place at schools regarding such matters, including vaping, cigarettes and drug use, adding that mandates have also been given to teachers to curb the spread of vape and smoking trends. He added that the matter of discipline involves everyone, not only teachers and school management, but also parents and the community in raising awareness of the dangers of cigarettes and vaping. On March the 5th, the Penang Consumers Association, CAP, reportedly revealed that about 15 female students in each school were found vaping, with 3 to 4 of them experiencing nicotine addiction. Its education officer, N.V. Subaru, was reported to have said that through the association survey, the use of vape and electronic cigarettes currently is found to be very popular compared to before the COVID-19 pandemic period, where it was discovered that the number of users vaping and using electronic cigarettes have increased threefold. The Domestic Trade and Cost of Living Ministry will expand the implementation of the Rahmah sales program, or PJR, during Ramadan, covering 450 planned locations nationwide. Its Minister Dato' Armizan Muhammad Ali said the noble effort aims to reduce the cost of living for the people and to enable them to buy essentials at lower prices, especially during Ramadan.
Selain menawarkan barang-barangan kering, kita juga akan menambah dengan bekalan barang-barang basah dan juga barang-barang keperluan untuk membuat kuih dan sebagainya yang akan diguna pakai sepanjang bulan Ramadan dan juga persiapan untuk menghadapi Aidilfitri.
Armizan said the Ramadan PJR provides daily necessities at a discount of 10 to 30% compared to the original retail price. He added that his ministry is also working with the Malaysian Fisheries Development Authority, LKIM, and the Federal Agricultural Marketing Board, FAMA, to stock up on produce, especially wet goods, which are sold cheaply. At least 2 series of PJR Ramadan will be conducted in each parliamentary constituency throughout the country for people to visit the sales program at their respective locations. The Defence Ministry is ready to provide explanations to the Public Accounts Committee, PAC, regarding the negative reverse balance of the Armed Forces Fund Board, or LTAT, should they be summoned. Its Minister, Dato' Sri Muhammad Khalid Nordin, said that the Auditor General's Report 2022 that brought this issue to light only highlighted a single fund, whereas LTAT had 3 reserve funds that collectively were in a positive position during the specified year.
Ada 3 tabung reserve, tetapi pihak Auditor General hanya merujuk kepada 1 tabung. Tetapi tabung secara gabungan ada menunjukkan positif, dan untuk tahun ini pun positif. Maknanya untuk tahun lepas 2022 positif, 2023 pun positif, lebih kurang dalam untuk tahun lepas dalam 900 juta ringgit.
Khalid said this when speaking to the media after attending the Royal Military College's passing out parade in Sungai Besi on Sunday. The report, tabled in Parliament last Wednesday, stated that LTAT's reserves recorded negative balances for 3 consecutive years since 2020, namely 376 million ringgit, 285 million ringgit in 2021 and 338 million ringgit in 2022. PAC Chairman Dato' Mas Ermiati Samsudin was reported to have said that the committee would call up LTAT over the board's financial situation after the Aidilfitri celebration. There is no need to extend the registration of foreign workers by employers under the Recalibration Program or RTK 2.0. Home Minister Datuk Sri Saifuddin Nasution Ismail said since the process of registering foreign workers by employers had been simplified, including not needing to apply for workers' permits through agents, there was no longer any need to postpone the deadline.
Sekarang ini, ID untuk memohon visa dengan rujukan itu kita bagi pada majikan. Dulu dia kena mohon dengan application kan, terus. Sekarang ni dia yang isi. Lagi cepat dia isi, permohonan itu akan hanya mengambil 2 hari bekerja. Jadi tak timbul soal kita perlu genjakkan tarikh tutup itu, tak perlu dah. Sebab dulu permohonan visa itu melalui ejen. Sekarang ni ID untuk akses kepada sistem permohonan itu majikan dapat. Itu perubahan yang ketara. Jadi kalau mana-mana majikan yang kata mereka perlu bersegera, segera buat permohonan.
Saifuddin said this after a Kedah Police Ramadan community event at the Kulim District Police Headquarters on Sunday. The Home Ministry had recently announced that unused quota for foreign workers would be cancelled on June the 1st, along with active quotas for foreign workers whose levies have been paid but their visas have not been issued by the end of March. The culture of party hopping amongst politicians, particularly members of parliament, needs to be addressed in order to ensure the political and economic stability of the country, including attracting foreign investors. Plantation and Commodities Minister Datuk Sri Johari Abdul Ghani urged for all parties involved to find a solution to any loopholes in the anti-party hopping laws. Johari, who is also the Titiwangsa MP, said that due to the irresponsible behaviour of certain MPs, the political stability of the country could be jeopardised and thus sending the wrong message to foreign investors.
Kalau dia nak pergi melompat, dan mungkin dia dah tak entitled for menjadi ahli parlimen. Dia mungkin kena cari solusi lah. Sama ada orang yang nombor 2 tu menang, dia menjadi ahli parlimen, ataupun parti orang yang melompat ni boleh lantik seorang wakil untuk mengambil alih, untuk finish the term. Because kalau tidak, every time kita talk about by-election. Jadi masyarakat di luar sana, terutama pelabur-pelabur, dia tengok by-election kita ni dah macam general election.
He was met after launching the Malaysian Indian Muslim Congress, KIMA Federal Territories Convention 2023 in the capital on Sunday. Meanwhile, Johari, who is also UMNO Vice President, said KIMA has shown unwavering commitment towards Barisan Nasional for the past 47 years. Considering the changing political landscape, he proposed that BN consider making KIMA a part of the coalition.
Saya tengok KIMA ni very committed political party. Bila dalam keadaan kita tak ada kuasa, kita kalah, BN cuma dapat 30, 26 oleh UMNO. They are together with us. So saya rasa that parti ni kita kena bagi serious consideration bagaimana kita boleh masukkan dia dalam kita punya Barisan Nasional.
Indonesian floods, landslide kill more than 20. News from the foreign front when we return.
Indahnya berbagi, berkongsi rasa, eratkan hubungan. WHI Kongsi kembali lagi. Kami terus menyantuni golongan yang memerlukan. Hantarkan sumbangan anda berbentuk persiapan Ramadan dan Hari Raya kepada alamat yang tertera sebelum 28 Mac 2024.
Korang baru balik dari bazar kan? Apa lagi? Jomlah tonton drama-drama terbaik Ramadan minggu ini di TV3.
Tipu aku.
Thank you so much, sayang.
Welcome.
Dia nak nikah perempuan tu?
Kada, kenapa senyum macam orang gila ni? Sakit ke?
Gila tak sakit? Salun.
Salun, jalan-jalan apa?
Cuma bukan nak rampas dia daripada Mami pun.
Takut kena racun lah dalam mi goreng tu.
Saksikan di TV3 dan stream sekarang melalui Tonton.
तो घर तुम्हारा रखवाला उसी घर में मिलेगा वो रखवाला और वो लाश
ये दर्जी तो चोरों से मिला हुआ है
और हम सब वहाँ पहुँच जाएंगे
इससे पहले कि चोर उस घर को ढूंढे मुझे हर घर पर वैसा ही निशान बनाना होगा
पता ना तुझे वो कर खुदा के वास्ते मुझे बख्श दो
Alibaba, Dustin di Kabul. Setiap Isnin hingga Khamis 4 petang di Sonia TV3 dan stream sekarang melalui Tonton.
Welcome back. The death toll from flash floods and landslides on the Indonesian island of Sumatra has risen to 21, with 6 people still missing. As of Sunday, authorities said more than 75,000 people have been forced to evacuate, with nearly 700 homes damaged. According to an official from West Sumatra Disaster Mitigation Agency, Fajar Sukma, a village located on a hillside in the Sutra sub-district was struck hard, with around 200 families in the area left isolated after a landslide followed the flash floods. Waters had started to recede after the flooding, but it was reported that access to areas affected by the landslide remained difficult because of the hilly terrain. With more rain expected in the next few days, officials have warned of further damage from floods and landslides. Indonesia's rainy season began in January, with the BMKG Meteorological Agency forecasting a first quarter peak, particularly on the islands of Java and Sumatra. The Ombudsman Office in the Philippines has ordered the preventive suspension of the National Food Authority NFA head and 138 other officials and employees. Now, this action is due to their alleged involvement in the sale of rice buffer stocks. Philippine Agriculture Secretary Francisco T. Laurel said the suspension started on March the 4th, while an investigation is underway on the accusations. An NFA official has accused several agency executives of improperly disposing of rice buffer stocks without bidding and at a price allegedly disadvantageous to the government. However, the NFA executives denied any impropriety, affirming that the sale followed proper procedures. The controversy erupted as rice prices in the country rose by 22.6% in January, up from 19.6% in December of 2023, with the government struggling to lower the prices despite an ample supply of the national staple. Fighting and bombardment again rocked Gaza on Sunday as Israeli forces intensified attacks across the Gaza Strip, killing nearly 100 Palestinians in the last 24 hours. According to the Palestinian Health Ministry, 81 bodies arrived overnight at barely functioning hospitals due to the Zionist attacks. In the southern Gaza town of Al-Mawasi, at least 13 people were killed, including women and children, in an Israeli airstrike on a tented area where thousands of displaced people were taking shelter. It was also reported that an infant and a young woman died of malnourishment on Sunday, taking the number of known starvation deaths to 25. At least 31,045 Palestinians have been killed and 72,654 others injured in Israel's deadly military offensive on Gaza since October the 7th of last year. In the meantime, Joe Biden has warned that there are red lines Israel should not cross in its war in Gaza as the US president's impatience with his ally grows increasingly visible. In an interview, Biden said that an Israeli invasion of the city of Rafah would be his red line for Benjamin Netanyahu. Referring to Israel's missile defense system, Biden said there is no red line where he would cut off all weapons, adding that Israel cannot have 30,000 more Palestinians dead. He stated that Netanyahu must pay more attention to the innocent lives being lost as a consequence of the actions taken. While Biden has firmly backed Israel in its campaign to destroy Hamas, his administration has been increasingly at odds with Netanyahu over the scale of civilian casualties in Gaza and restrictions on humanitarian aid into the enclave. Bayern obliterate Mainz in Bundesliga. Sports after this breather.
Bukan rahsia lagi. Tata juara anugerah juara lagu 38 sudah pun diketahui. Tahniah kepada semua finalis atas persembahan anda di AJL paling ikonik. Stream secara eksklusif ditonton dan alami semula kegemilangan Musicaverse AJL 38. Teruskan bersama kami untuk AJL yang akan datang. Kerana juara tidak terhenti di sini.
Jom sambut Ramadan ini melalui rancangan-rancangan penuh ilmu dan hikmah istimewa di TV3.
Dengan penuh keimanan wahtisaban, penuh keimanan bersungguh-sungguh, ikhlas, ghufir.
Di luar Ramadan, Allah turun ke langit dunia pada setiap malam, iaitu sepertiga malam.
Mungkin satu ketika akan memberikan padah pada kita kalau kita tidak mengawal.
Saksikan di TV3 dan stream sekarang melalui Tonton.
Cinta Amir teruji di saat Salina pergi meninggalkannya.
Kau bagi tahu aku mana kau seorang anak bini aku? Manalah aku tahu, itu kan anak dengan bekas isteri kau.
Kau jangan main gila dengan aku. Halijah masih membawa dendam yang belum padam.
Kayak kau boleh menang ke?
Kau tanya lelaki kau ni. Perempuan ni sebenarnya bekas banduan.
Konflik kembali memuncak dalam Rindu Kasih musim kedua. Isnin hingga Khamis 10 malam di Samarinda TV3.
On to sports. Football. The German Bundesliga. Harry Kane scored a hat-trick as Bayern Munich demolished Mainz 8-1, setting a new league record as the champions. Cut the gap on leaders Bayern Leverkusen to 7 points. Kane opened his account in the 13th minute, tapping in from close range before Leon Goretzka scored the second, slotting in Kane's rebounded effort 7 minutes later. Mainz pulled one back through Nadim Amiri's thundering free kick, but the England skipper restored the two-goal cushion just before the interval. Thomas Müller made it 4-1 after the restart with a quick move, and Jamal Musiala added another goal just after the 1 hour mark, threading a shot past Mainz goalkeeper. The score turned to 6-1 with Serge Gnabry's back heel flick 5 minutes later, and Kane completed his hat-trick from close range in the 70th minute for a 7-1 lead. Goretzka grabbed his second in the dying minutes with a header to complete the 8-1 route. With the win, Bayern cut Leverkusen's lead to 7 points, collecting 57 points after 25 matches, but Leverkusen still have a match in hand. In another match, 10-man Borussia Dortmund eked out a 2-1 win at Werder Bremen, holding on to the 4th spot in the standings. The visitors went in front with Daniel Malen's bicycle kick in the 21st minute. 17 minutes later, Jadon Sancho scored his first goal since his return to Dortmund, completing a quick break to give the visitors a 2-goal cushion. However, Dortmund were left with 10 men on the stroke of half-time after Marcel Sabitzer was shown a straight red card for a foul on Mitchell Weiser. Werder managed to cut the deficit through Justin Njinmah in the 70th minute, but despite the late chances, they could not find an equaliser. With the win, Dortmund have 47 points, one ahead of 5th place RB Leipzig. And to Formula One, the 2024 Saudi Arabian Grand Prix. Max Verstappen won the race from pole position on Sunday as Red Bull continued their dominant start to the season with a second 1-2 in as many races. Despite turmoil at Red Bull, Verstappen seemed in near total control on the track as he aims for a 4th consecutive title this year. The victory was 9th in a row for the Dutch, dating back to Japan last September and the 56th of the 26-year-old driver's career. Sergio Perez was runner-up under the Jeddah Corniche floodlights, and Charles Leclerc, who set the fastest lap, finished 3rd for Ferrari. However, Ferrari's rookie stand-in, Oliver Biermann, stole the show, finishing 7th and being voted driver of the day. Red Bull now have 87 points with Ferrari on 49 and McLaren on 28. The next race is the Australian Grand Prix in Melbourne on March 24th. Coming up, petrol station robbery. Police launch manhunt for 2 suspects. Stay tuned.
Korang baru balik dari bazar kan? Apa lagi? Jomlah tonton drama-drama terbaik Ramadan minggu ini di TV3.
Awak sepatutnya tanya balik dengan diri awak apa yang tak kena dengan awak.
Sebab di mata abang, saya tak pernah sempurna.
Assalamualaikum.
Awak salah rumah kot.
Saya anak awak.
Oh, dia takut ada ni.
Hei, bukan dia cakap tadi. Gila, membuat saya tergila-gila.
Saksikan di TV3 dan stream sekarang melalui Tonton.
Jadikan Ramadan tahun ini sebagai permulaan untuk perbaiki diri bersama TV3. Surga untuk Isteriku 12 Mac.
Gara-gara dia, gue jadi omelin sama bokap gue.
Terjebak di alam barzah 13 Mac. Setiap Selasa dan Rabu jam 5 petang di TV3 dan stream sekarang melalui Tonton.
Perempuan ni dia marah bila cinta dia dikhianati suami dia sendiri.
I rasa dia akan kahwin dengan I kalau dia tak ada isteri.
You're going to be my wife.
Very soon.
Kan takkan kau nak biar dia kahwin dengan perempuan tu?
I nak periksa you.
Imir, awak tak rasalah sakit tu, Imir?
Dia jadi gila.
Saya gila, Imir? Ke awak yang dah gila dengan perempuan lain?
Perempuan mana? Mana?
Perempuan Itu. Setiap Isnin hingga Khamis, 6 petang di Sakura TV3 dan stream sekarang melalui Tonton.
Welcome back. Here are some updates on the Maidin hypermarket fire. Perak Assistant Commissioner of Fire and Rescue Director Sayani Saidon said there are currently 5 teams of firefighters from the state fire stations to help extinguish the blaze.
Dan semasa mereka membuat size up tersebut, mereka mengatakan bahawa boleh untuk melakukan attack secara ofensif. Ya, maksudnya kita akan memadam secara madam kebakaran dari dalam. Dan kita telah menghantar lebih kurang lagi 10 orang anggota untuk membantu pemadam tersebut. Semasa mereka melakukan pemadaman di bahagian kiri sebelah belakang, tiba-tiba dan pada masa itu juga saya pun berada di bahagian belakang, kita dengar satu runtuhan berlaku. Dan runtuhan itu berlaku adalah di sebahagian kanan. Bahagian kanan Maidin daripada bahagian hadapan. Ya, dan kita dapati bahawa runtuhan tersebut telah menyebabkan dinding sebelah kanan tu bahagian atas runtuh sepenuhnya dan api marak keluar daripada bahagian kanan tersebut. Ya. Jadi saya telah mengarahkan pasukan yang berada di dalam bangunan tadi untuk keluar demi keselamatan mereka dan keluar, dan kita terpaksa menyusun strategi yang baru.
Police have recorded statements from two individuals who are believed to have witnessed an incident involving a newborn baby found dead in Sri Petaling condominium on Saturday. Brickfield's District Police Chief Assistant Commissioner Ku Mashariman Ku Mahmud, who confirmed the matter, said that police are still gathering information to identify the suspects involved in the incident.
Kita belum ada sebarang tangkapan, cuma ada sedikit lead. Tapi tak ada cerita lah apa lead tu kan. Ada sedikit lah lead, saksi di tempat kejadian tu lah.
Oh, saksi di tempat kejadian.
Saksi di tempat kejadian di mana pegawai keselamatan dan manajemen lah yang first dapat tahu yang nampak kejadian tu lah.
Ku Mashariman added that the case is being investigated under the Penal Code for murder. He also confirmed that the baby's post-mortem was conducted at the University Malaya Medical Centre at 2 p.m. on Sunday. The results showed that the victim died due to various injuries to the body as a result of falling from a high level. Previously, it was reported that a newborn baby boy died after being thrown from one of the units on the upper floors of a condominium building. Police are looking for two male suspects in their 20s, believed to be locals who are suspected of robbing a petrol station near Jalan Pusing, Batu Gajah Perak on Saturday. Deputy District Police Chief Superintendent Zulkifli Hanafiah said two petrol station workers, a 52-year-old woman and a 26-year-old Bangladeshi man, suffered minor injuries in the robbery that occurred around 6:45 a.m. The victims informed that the suspects rode a Yamaha 135LC and a Honda RSX 150, with one of them brandishing a small knife at them. Both victims did not obey the suspects' instructions, which led to a struggle, and during that struggle, the suspects managed to escape with two mobile phones with an estimated value of around 500 ringgit. The woman worker received 4 stitches to her lip, while the male worker received 8 stitches to his head due to the injuries they sustained. They receive outpatient treatment at the Batu Gajah Hospital. The case is being investigated under the Penal Code. Several photos of the robbery also went viral, showing a woman lying down covered in blood with items in the station in disarray. As we wrap up Nightline this time around, let's take a look as the Academy Awards crew ramp up their preparations for Hollywood's biggest night, the Oscars. Now, with less than 10 hours until showtime, the red carpet received its final touches before it welcomes Hollywood's biggest stars. With that, I'm Adrian Seet. Thank you for tuning in and have a productive week ahead.